Miller absent.
All right, we'll start with the consent agenda, which is the minutes of the September 7th council meeting, the minutes of the September 9th city work session, the closed session. That was the Zoom interviews. Special event permit for Park and Rec for co-ed softball league, and a special event permit for City High and the West Branch cross country team to run to the high school. Give me a motion, someone.
So moved. Second.
Got that?
You got to miss the claims. Do you want to mention the claims?
And the claims. Any comments?
Why do we have to have a special event permit for the City High to West Branch cross country?
We were wondering the same thing, but they just applied, so apparently they may run down Main Street.
If they run down a street.
100 yards.
I know they always,
They may
they always run by my road when they do that.
Say,
It's past
last
your
I knew,
road.
they,
Yeah,
they came down,
Yeah, well,
they
or
get
west-
on
Hoover
Hoover
Highway.
Highway and come down to the school. And turn
Yeah,
left
they
from
usually
West
run down
Branch.
like Lower West Branch in front of my house,
But usually they run on the grass once they get to the
Yeah.
limit.
but still, they have people following them and
Yeah.
adults around, so I'm sure
I think they do this every year, just in
they're,
case.
I believe they do.
Okay. I don't think I have any claims, questions. All right, any comments? All right, Leslie, let's vote, please, on consent agenda.
Councilperson Dean,
Yes.
Sexton,
Yes.
Goodweiler.
Yes.
That's it. Okay, communications open forum, and if anyone is here to speak to the council, we'd love to hear you. If you want to speak up. Okay. Okay. All right, now I know why you're, okay.
I spoke my piece.
All right. Where was I? Item 8 then. The non-consent agenda, we'll start off with a public hearing. Gaveling the public hearing, and the reason for this public hearing is to review an application for a state revolving fund loan to make available the contents of the environmental information document. So I'm going to read something into the record. The city of West Branch will be holding a public hearing to review an application for a state revolving fund, a loan, and to make available to the public the contents of an environmental information document in the city's project plan. These documents include design and environmental information related to the proposed improvements to the city's wastewater infrastructure. Project will make improvements at the existing treatment plant and will include construction of a new aerated lagoon cell, earthen berm pit area for a Sager system, an aeration system, filling with gravel and topping with mulch, a new lagoon aeration system with blowers, a masonry building, control building, underground piping, granular resurfacing, and UV disinfection will also be included, as well as all necessary connections and appurtenances. Also, a new water main extension will be run to the site along 300th Street. The purpose of this public hearing is to inform area residents of the community of this proposed action, discuss the actual costs and user fees associated with this project, and to address citizens' concerns, if any, with the plan.
Good enough. You don't need
If
to.
anyone is here, either live or on Zoom, to address this public hearing to the council of the wastewater project, please speak up. Hearing none, I am going to close the public hearing. And that's it for that tonight. I don't know what our next action is on this.
You know, the SRF will, the loan will eventually come back when you get closer to design. So This is just one of the many steps you have to take.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on. Resolution 2038, establishing a special revenue fund. Give me a motion, someone. Jerry seconds. This is to, last year, we established a, can't think of the term we call it right now, of capital improvements fund,
Capital improvements levy.
capital improvements levy.
Yep.
Well, we're starting to get tax dollars in. This is the first series of tax dollars that we're getting. So we have money for that. We need a place to put it in an official place. So, so what's this fund number?
300.
300? Okay. Fund 300. Any other discussion? Okay.
Councilperson Goodweiler?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Sexton?
Yeah.
All right, Casey's Lot, Resolution 2039. Approving a concept for the former Casey's General Store location, move to action. So I will explain first. We have two scenarios. They're identical, except one is straight in parking. The other is angle parking. Which one we decide will be Exhibit A. Will become Exhibit A. I should have known two were coming, but I didn't know at the time. I told Dave to draw up two different
That's
plans.
why I put Exhibit A, so you guys can choose one.
Give me a motion, someone first.
So
I think Jerry raised his hand for a second.
Yes, I did.
Okay, I have a favorite. It's the straight in parking. Can't tell you exactly why. It adds another parking spot.
didn't stick that far out in the street.
Yeah, and I think it favors you guys because you can just back right in. That's why I like it. Does that make any sense?
I have, it's pulling in straight is, you gotta make a wider swing to make it in there, but it's not a busy street, so it's being an issue.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you go in there at an angle, technically you gotta back out and go down Second Street to get out. There's the other way you can back out and go back to Main Street, so
Correct.
I think straight in is probably the way. We picked up 4 spots over on Main Street.
Yeah, those are 4 new spots. Well, they're kind of there now, but 5-foot sidewalk, offset sidewalk. Don't know if there's a curb. That's up to Matt, whether there's going to be a curb or not. I think there'll be a curb.
Yeah, I
Got a curb,
think people
Yes.
can
I would think so.
Yeah.
Also,
a 6-inch curb.
drive, 5 foot or 6 foot sidewalk.
But I'd love to see 6.
I think if 5 is what you have to have for ADA. You can always go bigger.
I
but
think
5
the one on the Main Street might be 6. The other one might be a 5.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of.
Okay. Who made the motion?
I.
Can you tell me which one?
Concept 4.
No, there isn't a 4.
Yeah, it is.
They're both
That's-
4.
Oh, it is.
Option 1 or option 2.
They're both
There's a
concept
go-
4.
Yes, but down at the very bottom, there's an
Very
op
bottom
2
is
and
an
an op 1.
Option 2.
All right, that is straight in parking. So ultimately, we'll call that Exhibit A when option 2. Because Exhibit A is in
Right.
is in the resolution. Okay, is there any more discussion? We're gonna decide on this tonight for the last time.
Mhm.
Let's vote, please.
Now,
You want to vote?
What?
I was just
I shouldn't have said that.
laughing because we were done.
We're not done. I shouldn't have said that. Go ahead.
Did you do a consensus?
Yes, they're on
Okay.
option B.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Mhm.
All right, so option 2 is Exhibit A. Councilperson Dean,
Yes.
Sexton,
Yes.
Goodweiler.
Matt can go to work.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That would have killed it.
Matt can go to work tomorrow.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Okay, draft ordinance, just discussion now. Of all-terrain vehicles and snowmobiles and off-road utility vehicles. Corey. This is, I'm pretty much sure it's the Cedar County's ordinance. He's changed it to, is Corey on?
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Corey, go
so
ahead,
that,
go ahead.
yeah, so what I did is I took the Cedar County ordinance and kind of tried to merge it as best I could into our city code of ordinance. There's some things that we have that the county didn't have that I kept. And some things that the county had that were not applicable to us at all. So I left those out. But basically, so our current ordinance doesn't even address utility vehicles at all. And our current ordinance is so far behind the times that it only addresses all terrain vehicles under 321G, which is now the Iowa code for snowmobiles. So no matter what needs to be updated, whether or not the council decides they want to allow ATV, UTVs on the road or not.
I'm not sure we have much choice because people are driving them anyway. They're out there, they're gonna get more popular.
Well, and I can explain kind of where we're coming from at the police department. So we haven't been doing a lot of enforcement. As a matter of fact, we haven't done any enforcement for ATVs and UTVs because the county has allowed it for several years. And when we have our main thoroughfares, our county routes, even though we have home rule within the city of West Branch, you know, if you have somebody that's traveling on a county highway and that county highway route comes through our town and passes through, it'd be pretty tough to enforce that on somebody. And that would be my opinion. You know, legally we'd be able to enforce it, but
Well, now, if this passes at the next meeting possibly, or 3 readings, we have something that's enforceable, correct?
no, I mean, we can enforce it right now. We're just kind of choosing discretion as the better part of valor instead of, you know, taking after all the folks that are using their UTVs. But if the council decides that they do not want to allow it, we will, you know, try to do a campaign of advertising in the newspaper. Hey, we're going to start enforcing this because we can't obviously let it continue if it's against our city ordinance.
So this ordinance would allow them.
Yeah, as this draft is written, this allows ATVs and UTVs to be used with restrictions on city streets.
Do they have a daylight restriction on? I mean, do they have to be like golf carts? They have to be off the streets by dark and can't be on the streets until sunrise, or is it unlimited?
As written, the county did not have that in their ordinance. And so as it is written in this draft, it does not. But that is certainly something that can be added to be uniform with our golf cart. requirements.
Does say lights are required, however.
Yeah.
It's unlawful though.
But
They probably have lights on all the time, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so the way the ordinance is written is they have to have their headlights illuminated at all times.
What about turn signals?
Turn signals wouldn't be required. You would have to use your hand signals if the vehicle didn't have them.
Brake lights? They all have brake lights?
Yeah.
This is also addressing snowmobiles.
Yeah, so this also updates our snowmobile ordinance to the same. There's not a whole lot of changes that update in the snowmobiles, with the exception of just the new definition in the Iowa code.
I think the biggest issue that I've ever heard of with the snowmobiles is when they come through town, the streets are plowed and there's not much snow on the streets. They like to use snow, which they drive through neighborhood yards to get out of town. That's usually the biggest complaint.
Yeah.
What about insurance?
Yeah, so this would require that they have to have insurance and have to carry it. Proof of liability insurance.
Yeah, you have to register the DNR.
So registering the DNR, do they require insurance? Because the only thing I see about insurance is here is 75.09.
Register with the DNR. You have to provide proof. And 75081 talks about bill of sale, appropriate honesty of proof and liability insurance.
Proof of liability, there it is. Okay, I see it now. Missed it. Okay.
The state, so they should be doing that
Yeah.
already.
Yes.
Okay, so that's covered. That answers my question. All right, I don't know why this wouldn't get read into an ordinance next time, the next 3 readings, and if there's no objection from you guys.
You want the at night to mirror what the golf cart ordinance says?
I don't think so.
I don't have to because of
They have lights.
the lights and
Okay.
the light issues.
I was just asking.
Is there any tweaking?
And one thing too, as I'll say, is to me, this makes no difference either way, whether it goes up or down. We're just basically, as the police department, looking for just that hard stance from the council of which way you want us to go. Whether we start enforcing what we currently have, or we make an exception.
What do you mean make an exception?
Well, by passing this, because the current state law says that ATVs and UTVs are illegal for operation on the highway.
So we wouldn't allow them if we didn't pass something like this.
We have any idea what other communities are doing?
To my understanding, we're the only one in Cedar County that did not go along when Cedar County made this ordinance.
We have an audience member, Chris. He's from Wilton. This is Chris Ball from Wilton.
I just tell Chief, if you contact Wilton, they have an ordinance in place, have had for quite some time. They redid it for UTVs. Durant just passed one last year, so they've done a little bit more research, and that would include Cedar County. So you can take a look at theirs and see what they've done as far as those go. So there are some communities that have done this. And as far as I know, complaints have been very low about it.
Go ahead, Leslie.
I have one comment. I got a call this afternoon from Superintendent Pete Swisher and regarding this this ordinance. And he wanted to know if there was anything in regard or going to be discussed about park property. Because what he didn't want is for people to go out into the national park and drive out there. So I told him that.
Yes, it does say
I
something.
think it says,
Did it
It
have it
said-
in there?
might say city park.
it says city park, because we might want to put in, I'm assuming the national parks are not going to
Let's
allow
just
it.
Yeah,
put
they're
city
not.
and national parks.
Yeah,
You know,
Well,
but why should we put it in our ordinance?
Well, they can have their own rules, just put it up there.
Put signs up.
And one of the things too to remember, the ordinance addresses, I'll try to find the section quickly. About they can't operate in areas where it's signed, as non-writing areas. So
75079 talks about.
yeah, and so what I'm looking at is 7507 subsection 4 on public land in violation of official signs prohibiting such operation.
So the Park Service would have to put up a sign.
Yep.
You know how to do signs.
Yeah, a couple,
Means I had going up.
probably.
It's not public ground. So should put up a sign.
Be trespassing.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out if there's any tweaks to this. I don't know why you need to tweak it. It seems pretty well written in my mind.
I'll take a look and just go through it.
Okay.
But I think Corey's done all the work, so.
Yeah, no. Okay, Corey, it looks great. I think we should probably approve it, get it approved and on the books. If nothing else, to update the old snowmobile or eliminate it and replace it with this. All right, any more discussion on this? If not, we're gonna move on to city staff reports. Any city staff? Nick, Dave, Matt, Melissa? All right.
Roger, I was going to give a quick update on Parkside Hills.
Okay,
So they have been out proof rolled and passed the proof roll for the subgrade. They should be ready for paving here shortly. Strub should be coming in to start putting down gravel for the sub base. They have the sewer installed, storm sewer installed, and they're waiting for their permit for the water main. They plan to pave and then come back in the areas outside the intersections and install the remaining water main. They did place some main under the intersection so they could proceed with paving. So that project is moving along pretty quickly, and they're hoping they can have most of the pavement in here this fall yet.
Dave, I have a question for you. Actually, I have a couple questions. I see where Kroll was awarded the contract for a local road to begin maybe this fall with completion next summer. I know that you folks were doing the engineering on Cedar Johnson intersection. What's the chances that we could get that done at the same time next year?
We are looking to have that Cedar Johnson Road 2080 agreement with the county ready here shortly. We would have the design done this winter, bid this winter, and have the contractor start in the spring is the intent.
same contractor or different contractor? So it's still starting.
It would be based on bids, Roger, so the contractor could
Oh,
be
yeah.
the
I know.
It would make sense to get it done next year, not to close local road 2 years in a row.
Okay. I guess that brings me to mind our speed limit dilemma. Dave, we decided we liked the concept that you proposed with our speed reduction, which is going to mean a speed reduction in Johnson County, which means we need to get approval from the Board of Supervisors has to okay that. Am I correct in that process?
Yes, if we are going to make changes to the speed limit in the county, they would have to have that approved. And I know that past discussion has been they'd like to do that at the time that we reconstruct the intersection. However, I think we are slightly ahead of that schedule with the installation of the signs. So I'll continue to work with the county to see if we can't move that along.
Yeah, I'd like to keep that moving, even if it's ahead of schedule from their schedule. I'd like to just keep it moving. So we're ready to install those signs, or they are. All right. I'll call
What's the process? Is that a 3 reading for them to change the signs?
I would assume so.
and a committee meeting. I think the engineer has to propose it. It might go to a small committee.
It's a little more bureaucratic in Johnson County.
Put up 2 or 3 signs, which would be nice if they had them in before. If we're gonna change
Before the
it,
road gets closed. I'd like it open.
well,
I'd like it in place in January when the middle school gets open. When they'll have 2 driveways, is what my goal would be. To have the speed reduction in place before middle school starts.
I have it done before Christmas.
I'd like to see it done
Before Christmas, that's coming up. Holy cow.
before we change the speed limit in town. We're gonna delay the speed limit until they put the signs
We
in.
just got one more reading, and then
Yeah.
as soon as they pass theirs, we'll read ours. As soon as they pass their 3. It's a little coordination that's gotta happen. Yes,
If we can get the engineer to make a recommendation, put it on the informal board meeting for discussion, and it passes that, gets on the formal meeting. They do meet more frequently than we do. They meet weekly, so we should be able to move that along relatively quickly once we get the process started.
If you want to call Neil Shattuck, or if you don't, I will, Dave, or next, I don't know how often you talk to him. Is he the one?
Yes, I had spoken with Ed Bartels about it previously, and he recommended working through Neil since Neil was familiar with the intersection project and they were related. So I will bring this up to Neil tomorrow.
Awesome, that's great. All right. Anything else from staff? Okay,
I was just going to say, obviously you guys are getting down in the process for the administrator hire, so I'm gonna start working on the agreement so that it's in form. Obviously, we have some terms you negotiate with whoever you hire, but I'll get it to a form where you guys can start looking at it, other than salary and any other moving expense type thing that you guys would negotiate with whoever you hire. So I'll work on that this week. I'll probably send it to Leslie so she can send it around to everybody, just so we can take a look at it. We can start that process.
okay, I guess I want to bring up, there's been a little bit of discussion of maybe doing a 2 or 3 year contract to start out with versus an open-ended, never-ending contract. How do you guys feel about that? I'm not sold either way.
What's the advantage?
Advantage of the last administrator.
If we did an initial 2 or 3 year contract, I wouldn't expect that person to move to town until they got a longer contract, more of an open-ended contract. I mean, it was talked about with the last administrator that we maybe should have done that way, but I think that was just circumstantial to that particular administrator.
We can write it whichever way you guys want to write it. I can, I'll just get something, most of the rest of the terms in there, but obviously you have to, something you'd have to negotiate with the person you hire also. So it's,
All right, I just want to bring it up to just plant the seed in your head. We'll have to talk about it. And the other, so you'll be working on the contract,
I'll get it done this week. So it's in
a contract.
a contract that you guys can look at, and then if you have questions, otherwise like I said, I'll leave the salary and
And it'll be very similar to what we.
it'll be similar to what we just had. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, very similar. So we have interviews Monday night, 6 o'clock is our first one. Adam Kofod. I can say it publicly because I already told Gregory there. At 7:30 is Chris Ball. Interview. And I think after that, we'll have a short chat. And hopefully we make a decision that night, that evening. And one of them moving off.
Is this interview gonna be in person or Zoom again?
In person. It's in person, right here in this room, Monday night at 6 and 7 o'clock. I'm gonna get you guys into town at 1 on, that's a Monday. Drive you around town. It shouldn't take long. Meet some other people. We can't really do a meet and greet with the public because it's just not working out. It just doesn't work out. I'd love to. I think when we have a final hire, we'll do it then. It's just so hard to get everyone together, and I'm really struggling with. We're having to do it on Monday night because we can't go on a weekend. Football trumps government.
Well,
College football. Which is fine. Okay, that's all I have. Anything else?
Are we still on timeline of a April 1st start on downstream flooding?
talking about the project. I can have the,
What's happening?
I can have the acquisitions completed by that time. So if
No,
that's
we-
what if that's what the deadline is that you want to have done,
Yeah, we want.
I will make sure that those are done before that time.
I know we had talked about April 1st
I
start.
forgot about that.
So I will get with Dave and we'll get that process going. And if we have to go to the, compensation commission, we can do that and we'll have plenty of time to do that. So we make sure we get started when he can start construction in the spring. I think that's probably the last, I don't know how. Dave, is your project designed pretty much already?
Yes, we just need to go through permitting with DNR, which will take a little bit of time, but if we are charging ahead with 6B, I will go ahead and get that stuff off. So we are not held up by permitting.
That would be great.
So both Dave and I will work on that schedule.
So would it be possible to have this ready for bid letting like in February or March?
Oh, you think that's possible, Dave?
I'll talk with the floodplain section and find out what they think the lead time is on it. I'd like to have the permits before we put it out, just in case they throw us any wrinkles.
I can get my time done by that time.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that
Keep it moving.
Okay.
we don't want to wait till 1st of April and go. Everybody's busy now. We gotta wait till midsummer.
Yep.
Although that's,
On that, it's probably not the greatest time of the year to be working on a creek. Right in the middle of
rain season.
Yeah, it is what it is. Greenview Connection got paved the other day.
Is it open?
No, there needs to be some infill where the chip and seal meets the new concrete. That's got to be filled in. And then it's all the bank work. Which, I don't know, Matt, are you doing the bank work or is the city doing that or who's doing that?
Lynch's will be coming back and doing that after it's. Yeah, after the rest of this stuff's done, we have a
I know.
manhole we have to lower and some other work.
The hole's got to get lower. There's a couple trees that need to be removed. Mine's already gone.
Lost my tree.
The wind.
We didn't do that.
No
though,
fault of
right?
anybody.
No.
That's a tree that we moved to save.
That I,
Yeah, we were gonna
Yes,
save it,
I
but the
know.
wind took it out.
I swore in a meeting about it. That's all I have. Anything else? Anybody? Shortest meeting ever. Colton's gonna be proud of me.
Yeah.
Need a motion to adjourn, anyone? Motion?
Move.
Nick will second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.